All right, I have a problem here with a jump clone, and I've been playing this game long enough that the problem is clear. I'll outline the problem, and I'll give you a hopeful my hopeful solution to my conundrum here. I've accidentally stuffed a clone, the Nirvana implants, in the wrong station. I thought it was my. I usually wander around with my talisman implants, and I usually try to situate a particular ship with a particular implant set. The one I wander around most with is going to be the one that I do it with a lot. So unfortunately, I'm I've got my implants in another station, and I've got the wrong implant set for a completely different thing, which is I base all my Nirvana type passive shield ships over in Herrera. So I've got a clone there. So how do I solve the conundrum? Right? I've got crystals. I'm going to jump into this one, right? And I've got a cooldown. I obtain that cooldown by thinking, hey, I'll get my talismans over to this station with my ship, and I'll just clone jump to where my great crystal implants are, and then come back here and switch out. Hey, there we go. Done deal. But I've accidentally somehow got saddled with, yeah, my Nirvana. And how do I deal with that besides just simply waiting it out? Now, it would be easy to deal with this problem if there was clone services at Herrera, and there's not. So that's a problem. Um, See, there's no clone services, so it's a bit tricky. If there were clone services, this would be easy. I would simply. I wouldn't take this ship. I'd take. Well, I could totally take this ship because I mean, I'll be flying back. So I take the ship. I go straight to Herrera. I delete. Do I have it? No, I've got lots. So I've I've got extra clones. I'll install a clone there. Jump into that blank clone, and then in my Firetail, I'll just go to Shuria 4. Boom, done. Right? But my cooldown's running. That's irritating, and there's no clone bathe at where I want to take this clone right here. So what do I do? Well, I was thinking, well, wait a minute. Can I actually switch my home station? Because it's set to Ruchi, just for emergency purposes, if I need to form up quickly there. Um, I don't think there's any short-term emergencies things I need to deal with at the moment. So it's easy for me to go, oh, I'll just set it back there later. So what I'll do is I will. What do I want to do here? The the nice thing is I have a place. I have a. Do I have a blank clone at Aurora? Didn't I have a blank clone? Yes, I do. So I've got a blank clone at Aurora because, right, it's best to not to destroy any clones you have when you switch out for another clone at a base where you don't have clone services. It's a good thing to do unless you need to destroy it, and then whatever, right? But luckily I've got one there, and I haven't destroyed it. So it's there, I can use it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to Furia 4, where my talismans are. I'm going to set home station. I'll leave my fire tail there.
Drive active.
I'll get in my capsule, whatever, head over to Aurora, switch clones with that blank one there, because remember, I cannot install a blank clone there because there's no services, and then I'll just suicide back to number 4. And the problem with jump cloning is that you can think it's going to work, but then you just run smack into a problem. But I've got enough experience to go, this might actually work. I might actually be able to do this because I've got things in place, because I've anticipated the problem for a future time, and now is the future time. So I don't need to install a clone here. I select home station as this one. I get out of my usual ship. There we go. And I head over to Aurora, and it's close by too, so no worries. I don't need to take any other ship. I'm good. Yeah, it's the nice thing about the dumping multiple clones at a station, that it's no longer a real problem dealing with that kind of issue. Because remember, not too long ago, you couldn't have more than one clone, jump clone, installed at a station. So yeah, it was real sketchy. You really had to work hard, and that's why upwells are so awesome, because it allowed multiple clones to be stored at the same spot. And you could switch them out with no cooldown if you're at the same upwell, right? But now you can do it at NPCs as well. So yeah, it's really powerful, and I love the system now because I can do things like this, which before were massively frustrated. You will be stuck with waiting 20 hours until you can actually fix something. And it's so easy to make a mistake when you're switching clones. Like I did. I had no idea I was in the wrong clone set before, right? Like yesterday. No idea. I had no idea how long I'd been flying around with the Nirvana set without realizing, oops. Right? But since we're on the topic, and I'm sure if you watch my videos on this topic before, or searched on my channel for videos about cloning and jump cloning and all that stuff, you'll realize that, well, you will understand, what I do is, in an area of, say, 3 jumps, you know, a zone, I won't go further than that, I won't spread it out too far, but I usually try to keep 90% of my clones within 3 jumps of a central area. And then what I do is I'll pick a station and go, okay, that station is, I'll store all my alts will have the same jump clones stalled there. Mostly, it's like 95% that. And I'll go, okay, this station will be for Nirvana and, of course, passive shield. And because we can do more than one, and sometimes, you know, this is sort of like not really a priority for me. I'll also store my Virtue, the prober ship, the exploration implants here in the ships, most of the ships here, and most of the time. You alter it slowly over time, and then I'll also keep anything that I want to use Grail implants with, which is, you know, a niche thing, right? So yeah, and I do that for all. I try to keep, see, the beauty of the system is when I think I have a need for, say, active shield tank. I'll go, okay, great. I go to Shuria Ardeshipur. That's where all my active shield tanking ships are. And, and all my tunes have all their same implants there and the same ships there. So when you're going docked at a station, you're going, what the hell, right? You're going, I forgot what the ship's purpose is for. But now, like, if you had it all in one spot, I mean, just, I don't have a good memory. So it's like, what the hell? Like, and so you get trapped into using the same ships over and over again because you're familiar with them, and you just forget most of the mess that's in your hangars. But if you spread it out over stations, it does the work for you. And I'm a big fan of making CCP's EVE Online mechanics work for me in the sense that it's working to help me remember what the hell am I looking at, right? Because it would be great, it wouldn't be that awesome if you hover over it and it would go log-ED estimated, how much cubic meters it's going to take, and say a ship maintenance bay, but also goes active tanked, right? Active tanked shield. Wouldn't that be so cool? But of course, CCP's never going to do that. And I wonder how simple that would be, right? I mean, what are the tanks on it, right? Because we can go simulate fit. How hard is it going to be to go, burp, because if it's able to go, when you have, say, it'll have a thing here, won't it? It will go, if you say, I think if you have, I might be mistaken. Let's try. There it is. See, fitting advisories. So if it can detect it might not be possible for the info, the tip tool, but this can sense, the fitting manager can sense, hey, why are you doubling? That's dumb. Why can't it go, like, if it senses both shield and armor, why can't it go, passive armor tank, like it is? This thing is. Or if it was, another ship with passive shield, it could go passive shield tank. And it could even go what kind of DPS it has, as in type of DPS. It can go drones and hybrids, or heavy assault missiles, and that kind of thing. You could quickly hover over ships and go, so since we don't have that, I've got to make CCP's mechanics work for me. I've got to cobble together a jury-rigged way, because it is jury-rigged. I'm arbitrarily picking stations and matching implants to ships to help me, because CCP's 20-year-old game is more interested in their Vanguard FPS and selling this idiotic idea of oh, thank God I've forgotten the name of it for a second. NFTs. They're making a game that has NFTs in it, right? That's where they're putting their resources. That's where they're putting their, we want to build this game over there, instead of we want to take the revenue we're getting to improve our game to the point where actually people enjoy being customers and new customers, and not being completely overwhelmed like I was when I first started out. I mean, back in 2004, it was completely overwhelming because we didn't even have these filters. Like, the ability to filter, it was just amazing. Like, item filter, it's just like slot type is low power. It just, I can do medium power and high power, and oh my god, isn't that amazing, right? Back then, you didn't have diddly, and you'd have to go through and go, oh shit, okay, this, and it wouldn't be order like, the when you go sort by type, and it's in my suggestion box. I think it's an old video, like years old, my wish list playlist is, or I think it's called suggestion box, is Jesus Christ, could you just sort by slot type, you utter tool bags? But yeah, they're more interested, and Pillmore's more interested in talking about his trendy little IPs and not actually thinking this game is so not cool to a lot of potential customers because it's just too overwhelming in a way that's sadistic. This is beta level crap that they have, and they've not really, that they've gotten away from, oh, we can't really play this game because it's gotten our people in trouble, with the whole Bob thing, and this, I forget the dev's name, but it's like, I think the goons I think this was set up, right? It was like, this is too perfect a scandal here. It's like, what the fuck, right? Anyways, so I think they just used that one example as going, well, we have to have hands off, right, completely. We can't play this game because otherwise we'll be, seduced into corruption and stuff. It's like, you need to have people who are playing this game who are going, hey, why can't we do this? Because, I'm just having these ideas on the fly based on black box end user speculation about how it works. Now, these fuckers have access to the actual tools of the game and be like, yeah, we can totally do it. It wouldn't take too long, right? I mean, why did we have these filters in the first place? Can't we just they would know that this option, sorting, filter, that they coded like a decade ago maybe, cannot or can be integrated into the sort by, right? And of course, what the hell is with these idiotic options when one of them absolutely should be show sidebar? 100%. So all I'm saying is, yeah, it would be nice if you hovered over a ship and you saw active tank and what kind of weapons it is, because it would save people, when they leave the game and think of coming back, they realize, I have no idea what I'm looking at here. Like, what ship, that's like filled with ships. They're one station where they kept everything. It's just filled with garbage because they just, it's so intimidating. It's like, fuck this, I'll go play Helldivers, or something like that. And it's just like, they have, CCP has metrics, but they don't have a metric for the people who talk with their wallets. That's not a metric. It's a negative metric. And developers are always, that's their blind spot. So yeah, I mean, it would be nice, but in the meantime, we have to deal with, the politicians that we have, not the politicians we'd like, right? To properly butcher Rumsfeld's quip. Or was it Cheney? I forget. Morons. Anyways, war criminals. Anyways, so, yeah, that's where we're at. Sorry. So, yeah, all I do is, and of course, you guys didn't need to watch the end to figure out I was on the right track, because now I just jump. Don't have Clone Bay, but I've wisely left that blank clone there, and now I can correct my mistake. Now, do I in the future need to get another blank clone in here just just to be careful. It might be a good idea. Might be wise to, at stations you frequent, to have a blank clone there, and two, you can get rid of one of them, but leave a blank clone at a station such as this. Might be a good idea to repair mistakes, right? And I'm not going to force one of the requirements that you sit there and rant at your screen for, what's it been, half an hour? You don't need to do that. But anyways, so yeah, self-destruct, and don't worry about it. When you hit self-destruct, if they're like, if I had not, if I'd been yapping away and I forgot, and I decided to self-destruct, it will go, hey, warning, you're going to do this. I believe if we go yes, there's another pop-up that goes, are you freaking sure? Because you've got this warning and you've got this warning. But they might have changed that. It might have been the old interface, but I'm not going to try that. I'm pretty sure there's another pop-up, but yeah, don't quote me. Yeah, I'd assume there's not. So anyways, it gives you a warning. And I think that's the big thing about people, just worrying they're going to destroy their implants by accident. No, it'll give you a warning. When I go this, and it goes yes, and I have no implants, it's not going to give me a pop-up. It's just going to take me right there. And there we go. Yeah, that worked perfect. Awesome. Yeah, it's very, and the problem is that I can't define the concept of what I just did in technical terms, right? Or in ways that I can compare it to other other scenarios that could happen when you're trying to deal with clone anything, right? Jump clones. And hopefully very soon I feel it, because I'm like, the process of problem and solution came so rapidly to me that I knew I'm getting very close to an intuitive understanding, and that means I'll be getting very close to a simple common sense terminology that I'll have to invent myself, of being able to explain the different scenarios that you have, and turn those scenarios whatever, into, instead of just chaotic scenarios of, oh god, here we go again, of, no, here's your toolbox of jump clone techniques that you can apply to different scenarios, and that will help you not only avoid pitfalls, but actually take advantage of it, instead of doing something way less efficient. Like if you're hauling ships between stations and you totally forget to put in a home station, so you can save yourself half the trip by just jumping back to the station where your ships want to depart from, right? And it's all that clusterfuck of trying, because 90% of my game is just shuffling assets around, or forgetting one thing I had to deal with, and that's the whole game for me, trying to correct my mistakes and shuffle assets around, and it's just Titanic, deck tears on the Titanic. But that's why we play the game, because otherwise, why would we play this crazy ass game in the first place, right? It's a screensaver with a built-in chat function, and we just play with tiddlywinks. That's, yeah. Anyways. So there, done. I think I'm in a blank clone though. I need to switch to my talisman implants. And of course, since this station has a clone bay, I can very casually just delete this this clone now, right? Go boop. Don't need it. Well, I got a lot, so I don't need to delete it. But eventually I'll want to move that clone over to a station, right? I've got a placeholder over there. It would be nice to move it back to Aurora just in case I have this mistake again. Once, I don't have a cooldown, and like, the main concern is not to have cooldowns at all. Never have cooldowns. It's a rare thing that I do. I usually do it for drastic reasons, and I try to keep my use of the jump cloning when it costs me a cooldown to the absolute minimum, because when you really need that jump clone to happen, you don't want to be in the habit of constantly having those jump clones around. You just willy-nilly jumping around, because when you really need those for emergency purposes, when you're trying to help, for PvP purposes, to assist people, it's a really bad idea to have that habit of always having the cooldowns or thinking it's okay. Like, this is not okay for me. I don't like having this happen. But yeah, I mean, and I'm a neat freak. I like to delete clones. It'll cost me to reinstall them. But it's just a habit. I don't want to do it. But at the same time, whatever, it's just a million. I'll deal with it. Just to keep it clean, and just in case I need to install a clone somewhere. Say if I never go to nullsec, but say if I wanted to roll a hole and I needed a blank clone in Ruchi and stuff. And that's why I liked having my home station in Ruchi, because that's where I usually roll wormholes. And so, right? So the last thing you want to be doing is slow down your mining or anything you want to do in system after you've rolled the holes and you're stuck in Jita or somewhere else, right? So that's my whole thinking about that. And hopefully I'll be able to do another video that uses this context of what I just did, like, right, not the ranting, but the whole thing that I just did, and have it written down in a checklist of what I just did in steps, and then compare it, contrast it or whatever, with other jump clone techniques I used for other purposes. And if I have enough of these videos, I can go, oh, that pattern is exactly like the other pattern, so I can narrow it down to only, like, I'm hoping a 4 toolbox. And then I can go, and these are situations you can use this tool for, and then that video will really not only help me, but I think everybody else, because it's just so hard to be on the fly and go, oh, okay, this is the really fast way of doing this, let's do it that way, or should I really keep that jump clone there, or why do I need a blank jump clone there? Should I delete it? Right? So all this stuff is going to come together hopefully soon, because it's starting to click. Finally, took me long enough, but it's starting to click, and that means that it'll be exponential when everything else clicks. I'll do something else, and that'll click, and yeah, it'll hopefully be only 4 tools. So that'd be great, yeah, to have 4 procedures you could use for any scenario. And not only that, to pre-plan, you're going, hey, I want to go that, oh wait, and then you could use your jump clones to maximum advantage when you want to do a certain thing. And yeah, hopefully I can get there. Anyways, wish me luck.